Hey, chefs. It is your girl, Chef Evelyn here, and I'm back with another episode in the Chef's Table where we talk about building high-end culinary brands from scratch. And today, I don't necessarily have like a list type video for you, but I do want to share with you the biggest mistake I made when I changed careers and wanted to switch from being a chemical and environmental engineer to being a culinary entrepreneur. And so I'll tell you a story. So when I first realized that I wanted to be a chef, I was in my fourth of 5 years at college. So I was double majoring in chemical engineering and environmental engineering, and I was getting towards the end of my studies. And I remember sitting in a class called Thermodynamics 2. It sounds super interesting, right? And we were talking about like saturated steam tables and all of this crazy stuff. And I just remember that everyone looked like they were on the edge of their seats with interest and excitement. And I remember sitting in my seat thinking, I so would much rather be at home baking brownies, right? Like, listen, I'm sitting in this class. I've been in engineering school at this point 4 years, about to be in my last year. And I just remember thinking, this is not what I want to do. So I remember I called my parents and I said, hey, both my parents were engineers, by the way. So my dad was a mechanical engineer and my mom is a chemical engineer by degree. And so I remember I called my parents and I was like, hey, you know what? I don't want to be an engineer. I want to be a chef. I want to go to culinary school. And they were like, that is amazing. And you can do that soon as you finish engineering school, okay? And so I was excited. I was like, I don't want to take any more engineering internships. I don't want to invest any more extracurricular energy and activity into this engineering career that I really don't want to do. I want to kind of make a sharp right turn, and I want to really start getting my feet wet in the culinary field. So I took a job with a catering company that was an hour away from my college, one direction. It was minimum wage, but it was great experience. And just to date myself a little bit, the way I got the job was I opened up the phone book and I just started calling through catering companies and saying, hey, listen, I don't have any experience, but I'm willing to learn. Would you hire me? And so someone hired me over the phone. And so I'm forever grateful for them. And so let me get into the biggest mistake. So I felt like I was making good progress. I started researching culinary schools. I started, working at the catering company that summer and an occasion on the weekends when I was in school or for special events. And I was like, great, let me finish engineering school, but I'm starting to get my feet wet in this culinary space. I mean, I had been cooking since I was 6 years old and had been, started my first food business when I was 15, and I was bartering my food services in college. But this was the first official, culinary job that I had. So I was like, yes, okay, I'm in there. And so I remember seeing an article in Essence magazine about this chef in Houston, and it was a woman, and she was African American, like she looked like me, and I really didn't know any chefs at the time that looked like me, and I was just like, oh my goodness, and so the story in the article was that she owned like a catering company, she owned like an event center, and she basically owned like half of this block in Houston, Texas. And so I remember reading and being so intrigued, and I was like, this is a sign, I can go this route. And so I remember thinking, I don't have to work in a restaurant or a hotel. Like, I can own my own business and be like her, right? I can own my own places and all that kind of stuff. I think she had a chapel and she had a banquet hall and a caterer. She had all these things. She had a staffing company. She just had a lot of great things going on in the culinary space. And I was like, if she could just teach me a piece of what she knows, then I will be like ahead of the game. I will be on my way. And so I remember, I don't know how I found her, because I don't even know if like Google search was a thing, but I remember I found her company's information and I called them. I called them. I sure did. I was like bold at this age, right? Probably just young and dumb, or just young and naive. I won't say young and dumb because this was very smart, but young and naive. And so I just called her. I called her up, this woman that I never met. And I said, hey, you've never met me. I explained to her what was going on. I was like, I'm in college for engineering school. I really don't want to do it. I want to go to culinary school. I saw your article in Essence. I want to do what you're doing. And I took a job with a catering company, and I want to know, will you mentor me? And when I look back on it, it was a huge ask. It was a huge ask to ask a complete stranger to mentor me, not only to mentor me, but to mentor me basically for free. What's insane about this story is she said yes. And I was like, oh my God, like this woman, and in my mind, I was like, this is the epitome of being a chefpreneur. I didn't even know that word at the time. I don't even know if that was a word at the time. And here's the biggest mistake that I made in my culinary career is that I didn't follow through with the mentorship. I didn't follow up. I didn't reach back out. I didn't allow myself to get mentored. And so consequently, I spent the next decade plus trying to figure it out on my own. I was too embarrassed to ever reach back out to her and say, hey, I asked you to mentor me. You didn't know me. You were so gracious. Can I start back up? Right. I still have the article till this day. I have it in a little sheet protector because I never want to forget that moment. And I was like, how different would my career have been if I had gotten someone who was ahead of me, who was at a place where I wanted to be. And right now, like, if I had to look backward, I would have paid the woman whatever she was asking to teach me what she knew. And so I will say this, don't make the same mistake I did. If you know that you want to build a high-end culinary brand, if you know that you want to learn how to make money online as a chef, if you know that you want to have multiple streams of income, if you know you want to build a business around your life instead of trying to fit your life around your business, if you're tired of working nights, weekends, and holidays, if you're tired of being burnt out, coming home and all you're eating is ramen noodles or cereal, Chick-fil-A or pizza because you don't even want to cook for yourself anymore, if you're tired of missing out on birthdays and holidays and get-togethers with friends because you're always working, if you're tired of clients who want to nickel and dime you to death and want you to be the Walmart of, food services and don't want you to charge your worth, like if you're tired of that, get some mentorship. And whether it's me or whether it's somebody else, don't try to DIY it. Your life is too valuable. Your time is too valuable. It's too precious. It's the most expensive, non-renewable resource that you have. And when I look back on it, I say to myself, that's probably the biggest mistake that I made in my culinary career is not getting mentorship until years later. And she was willing to give it to me for free. Now that's like unheard of. People are like, all the money that I've spent investing in myself and trial and error, like people don't even mentor for free that way that she was willing to do for me back then. And so just let this be a lesson of, I bought that lesson. You can borrow it, right? So I always say with my friends, like, some lessons you buy, some lessons you borrow. When you buy it, that means you had to learn it yourself. When you borrow it, it means you watch somebody else do it and you're like, note to self, don't buy that lesson. And so I'm going to say to you, if you want to build a high-end culinary brand, if you want to own your time, if you want to live, cook, and work on your own terms, you can keep trying the way that you're doing. But if Google searching and watching free videos and watching free webinars and trying to copy what other chefs were doing was going to work by now, it would have worked, right? It would have worked by now. You know what I mean? And so I just wanted to share that story of the biggest mistake I made in my culinary career. I mean, I think it's the biggest, and I've made other mistakes, but I think that one is the biggest. I think it cost me the most time. I think it cost me the most money. I think it caused me the most stress. And so I just wanted to do this video to tell you that story, that you don't have to do the same. And so if you're in a place where you already know that you need guidance and coaching where you need a roadmap, you need a strategy, you need someone to walk you through how to build this high-end culinary brand, how to create those multiple streams of income, how to make money online, how to work with brands, how to have a social media strategy, how to have your own events, whatever you're looking to do, and you've already been thinking that you need guidance and support, I would love to invite you to a complimentary strategy call where you and I will have a conversation about where you are in your business right now, where you want to go, and what are the things that are possibly getting in the way. Now, my strategy sessions are complimentary, but they're not free coaching. And so these are for people who are already looking to invest with a coach or a mentor. And it's really about deciding if we're a good fit to work with each other. So you get to learn a little bit more about me. I get to learn a little bit more about you and your business, and to see if we would be a good fit of working together. And if we are, then we'll talk about how we can do that. And so if that's you, I invite you to apply for a strategy call. The link to apply for a strategy call is in the description box of this video. I hope that you enjoyed this lesson, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.